My son's teacher told him she'd be a better parent than me. I taught her a lesson she will never forget. My 6-year-old son, Oliver, started first grade so excited about his new teacher, Miss Whitman. She was young, maybe 25, always smiling, and Oliver said she was the nicest teacher in the whole school. He'd come home talking about how she read stories with special voices and let them have extra snack time on Fridays. I was thrilled he loved school so much after a rough kindergarten year with a strict teacher who made him cry. The first month was perfect. Oliver bouncing out of bed, ready for school, homework done without fighting, constant stories about what Miss Whitman said or did. Then little things started seeming off. Oliver mentioned that Miss Whitman said his lunch wasn't healthy enough and she'd started bringing him special lunches she made at home. When I asked about this at pickup, she said Oliver seemed hungry and she wanted to help. I explained we were fine financially and his lunch was perfectly nutritious. She laughed and said she just cared so much about her students. Next, Oliver came home saying Miss Whitman didn't like his haircut that I'd just given him. She said it made him look messy and offered to take him to her salon on Saturday to fix it. I emailed immediately saying that wasn't appropriate. She responded that she was just trying to help since I seemed overwhelmed as a single dad. I wasn't overwhelmed. My wife had passed 2 years ago, but Oliver and I were doing great. The comments got weirder. Oliver said Miss Whitman told the class that some mommies weren't good at taking care of their kids, so teachers had to help. When another kid said their mommy was the best, Miss Whitman said sometimes kids didn't know what good care looked like. Oliver was confused because he didn't have a mommy anymore, but Miss Whitman kept talking about how mommies needed to do better. At parent-teacher conferences, she spent the whole time asking about our home life. Did Oliver have proper bedtimes? Did I read to him enough? Did he eat vegetables? When I said everything was fine, she said kids with only one parent often fell behind without proper support. She offered to tutor Oliver after school for free at her apartment. I declined firmly, and she said I was being prideful instead of thinking about Oliver's needs. Halloween came and Oliver wanted to be a dinosaur. I spent hours making his costume with him, cardboard scales and painted claws. He loved it. He wore it to school for their parade and came home in tears. Miss Whitman had told him it looked homemade in a bad way and gave him a store-bought Prince costume she just happened to have in his size. Said princes were better than dinosaurs and his real costume was embarrassing. That night, Oliver asked if Miss Whitman could be his new mommy, since she knew what kids needed better than I did. My blood went cold. I asked what he meant, and he said Miss Whitman told him she would be a better mommy than anyone, and someday she'd take care of him properly. She'd been telling him this for weeks during their special lunch times, that she loved him more than anyone else could and wanted to be his mommy. I called the principal immediately, but it was after hours. Next morning, I was at school before the doors opened. The principal, Mrs. Foster, tried to brush it off as a young teacher being enthusiastic. I demanded she investigate. She said she'd look into it, but Miss Whitman was beloved and probably just meant she cared about her students like family. I knew that wasn't enough, so I started talking to other parents at pickup. Turns out Oliver wasn't the only one. 3 other single parents had similar stories. Kids coming home saying Miss Whitman would be a better parent. Extra attention for kids from divorced families. Telling kids their parents didn't pack good lunches or dress them right. One mom said her daughter asked if Miss Whitman could adopt her because she said she wanted to. We went to the principal as a group. Mrs. Foster finally took it seriously and said she'd observe the class. But Oliver came home that day saying Miss Whitman had told him not to tell anyone about their special talks anymore because some people wouldn't understand how much she loved him. That was it. I pulled Oliver out of school for the rest of the week and contacted the district superintendent with every incident documented. The other parents did the same. The superintendent launched an investigation immediately, and what they found out changed everything. Full story on channel. Link below.